This is the SecretLab Premium PC mount, designed for SecretLab Magnus Pro. Protective foam. Very soft felt. It's rubbery and soft felt here. Some kind of green switch, red switch. Lock, unlock maybe. We'll figure that out. This part. Screws and an Allen key. Soft rubber. Not sure if that's supposed to be removed because it's sticky maybe. It's rubbery. Very solid, heavy build quality. That's what was in the box. Okay, I raised the desk up so I could get under it, and I want to put it on the other side of the desk. The first thing I did was screw these 4 screws that were already included when I have the desk, and just put this first component here very robustly onto the base there. The maximum height of the PC that's allowable is 54 centimeters. Mine is only 47 centimeters basically. Okay, and it tolerates 30 centimeters wide. Mine's only 23 and a half. Oh, I see. Okay. It looks like when adjusting the height here for this thing, for this PC, I've got to do it in advance because this side will be facing up against that wall. So I'm going to put this around my PC and measure it correctly. This part here will slide over this rod. Okay, so how do you adjust this thing? It rotates, but I don't know if the rotation matters. It's basically like a piece of gym equipment. Obviously I've sacrificed a hand by holding the camera, so I'll just use my foot. You can see it sliding out. Okay, and then it wants to click back in on its own. I think I can pull that out and rotate it, though I don't know what rotation would actually achieve. I did rotate it when it started, but I don't think it needs to be rotated. That's just the logo. It's on a spring and it clicks back into one of these. Okay, so I'm just setting the computer in just for measuring purposes, and it's gonna snag at the next pull-up point. Okay, I don't know what's next for there because it won't do anything in between. I'll read the instructions and try to figure out how I can get that firmer, because that's not gonna allow me to do anything else at the moment. Okay, I can see what these protective foam things are for. It's to raise the PC so you can slide that in. I just tilted it on the carpet and then I'll lift that up. I did manage to jam this down to make it click very tightly. Not very, very tightly, but I might actually go ahead and secure this into the rod. Okay, so if it really wants to tighten itself, so it's like a ratchet. It only goes clicks in one direction, and that's green. I might be able to lock that so this button can't be pressed. At the moment the button can be pressed and I can pull it out so it's looser. I'm doing all this with one hand while I film for you, of course. So if I press that button, I'll be able to pull that out, but I assume that will stop me from being able to press that button. Yeah, just in case my leg or anything goes against it and the whole thing falls out. That's tightened in. So 1, 2, 3 sides plus a little bit of the outer side just to stop it from tilting out. The clampage is fairly good. Now if I can lift up this entire PC, I'm pretty sure my job's mostly done, and then I'll just slot it into there onto that bit. I'll just read the instructions just to make sure that's true. Haven't found any use for those 4 screws, given that these screws are pre-installed when you buy the Magnus Pro desk in the first place. One other thing is I did have to rotate this earlier to put it in an unlock position, and I'm going to have to put it back to lock at the end now because I feel like that's very firm and secure. So I'm going to come around here and I'm going to rotate that so it's just facing upwards. Okay, I've locked it so it can't click out anymore. You rotate this before you pull out the spring, so it can't be pulled out anymore. It can't come out and twist or anything. You twist it while it's down. It's a bit hard, but it's okay. I think that's done. That's what it looks like when mounted to my desk, just hovering in midair like that. That's standing height. And if I go to preset 1, that'll lower down to sitting height. And you can't go lower than 78 centimeters, otherwise it'll whack against the floor and crush everything. Okay, so these are some screens that I've got, because I usually sleep in here because I've got an air conditioner in this room. The rest of the house is a bit of a mess. And this is going to be my studio with the newly mounted computer here. I'm glad I bought it. Here are the parts that I didn't use. I didn't use the protective foam to raise the PC a couple of centimeters off the floor. And I didn't use those 4 screws because they're included in the bottom of the desk already. Yeah, getting better. I tried to use the short display port cable that came with the Kogan monitor and the Kogan box, but it was just too short to get from the back of the Kogan around through the mount and along the back and all the way down into the PC. So I ended up using this overly long display port because display port is faster than HDMI. Okay, I think that's about as neat as I can get this room with all the stuff that I need all the time. Potentially could put all that into storage. I've got to deal with all of this. Cables and stuff. But I need the HDMI running through into the old central computer linen closet where the modem and everything and the HDMI splitter and everything is, so that I can still see that on there and that on there and in other rooms and stuff. But in this room, I've left enough slack for that one HDMI to raise and lower, hopefully without yanking it. And on the back of the computer, it's fairly neat. I've run everything up past the frame mount and the wires well shoved in. They're as neat as they can be given the immensity of how much cabling there is. It is quite awkward to squeeze cables in this very tight gap. My hand span is that wide and this span is this wide. So trying to get things underneath, especially when you want to plug things in that are further back. You can see through the width of this tray that holds all the cables. But overall it does a pretty good job. Do things get jammed here and on the other side? Not jammed, they get squished and squeezed. You'd have to be very, if you wanted to set it up neatly, you'd have to know exactly what you want and never touch it again. But I swap things all the time. Here we can see it's raised above the ground. It's perfectly fine. This one had a wire going on an angle, which was unsightly. So I ran a double adapter. So I made the power cable for this longer. Nothing I can do about the Ethernet cable. So they're both just running down the wall and in the back and through there and powers the fridge and all that sort of stuff. But so far, I reckon that's pretty bloody good. When I raise my arms in the air, they'll be against a green screen. However, some of my puppets are green, but none of them are blue. And so I've been contemplating buying a $300 blue stand that would just be all cumbersome and in the way with the big feet of the stand, or repainting this wall, which That was previously all green as well. The whole room was green, but it reflected green everywhere. I had to put up black curtains along there to stop the green reflection. I'm thinking now I might paint that wall blue. It'll cost about $100 for 2 litres of paint. That ought to cover it with 2 coats, I think. I don't want to start bringing in stands and all sorts of things just for blue screen. This computer holder, I trust it. Feels robust. I like it a lot. And it seems to do its job perfectly. Is it centered in the middle of the weight? Mostly. It's good. The desk is amazing. The raising and lowering are not affected by the extra weight of that PC stuck on the side of it. And it all seems to work really well. I pretty much sit cross-legged at all times, but it still gives me heaps of width with the PC installed. No cables back there, it's all really neat. So I have full control of my system. Using an iPhone 12 and iPhone 11 as a webcam. One messy thing is this cable here that's dangling down the back because I don't have a long enough cable for that. And I may need to extend this all the way out to that hallway, which might mean an extra cable that runs out the back, so there'll be 3 instead of 2. And if I do want to use a LAN cable, an Ethernet cable, I'll have to run that down the side as well. At the moment, now that I've got the PC mounted, I'm not using this magnetic wire holder for anything. Everything used to run down through here, but now I just found it simpler just to run the HDMI straight onto the floor so it can have the slack it needs when I raise and lower it. The Zen Airlink is always on, 24 hours a day, waiting for a receiver so I can listen back without any latency. The in-ear monitors and the microphone are the messiest things that could be on this table, so I've just hung them over the end of this hook on the frame here. And as you know, the lighting and everything is controlled by my phone that I'm holding right now. The green screen behind me may need to be painted blue, as I said, because the puppets, some of them are green, but it's an effective green screen result here.